There are many dark and controversial moments that have happened in wrestling which WWE doesn't want you to know. And now, one of the most recent darkest WWE moments is the sudden disappearance of the tribal chief, the head of the bloodline, Roman Reigns from action in WWE. Roman Reigns was last seen on a WWE program months ago, and since then fans have been questioning the whereabouts of the tribal chief. Wrestling fans, brace yourselves. Because something unexplainable is happening behind WWE's velvet curtain, something so chilling, so cloaked in silence, that even the loudest voices in the wrestling world have gone quiet. The cameras have stopped rolling. The bloodline is fraying. And the man once called the most dominant force in modern wrestling is missing. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, has vanished. No official announcement. No press release. Not even a cryptic tweet from Paul Heyman. Just a cold silence that's now lasted for months. The last time Roman stepped foot in a WWE ring, he commanded the world's attention with his signature swagger, his unshakable gaze, and the aura of a man in complete control. And then, nothing. Darkness. It's not just a storyline. It's not a work. It's a disappearance. A vanishing act that's growing more suspicious by the day. And yet, WWE refuses to say a word. So what happened? Let's rewind the tape. The last confirmed appearance of Roman Reigns occurred during one of WWE's biggest nights, a pay-per-view spectacle that, in hindsight, may have been his farewell. Cameras showed Roman walking backstage, flanked by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. He didn't look injured. He didn't act like a man in crisis. But looking back, something was off. Something subtle. The silence in the arena wasn't for drama, it was foreboding. He didn't say "acknowledge me" that night. He said nothing at all. That was nearly 4 months ago. Since then, Roman Reigns has not appeared on Raw, SmackDown, premium live events, or even social media. WWE's official channels have avoided his name like it's a banned subject. Search the company's website and you'll find outdated bios. No upcoming matches. No interviews. Not even rumors. This isn't just a creative decision, it's a disappearance, and the fans have noticed. Across Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter, forums once overflowing with Roman's iconic moments have transformed into digital war rooms, dissecting every clue. Threads titled "Where is Roman?" stretch hundreds of comments deep. Some blame contract disputes. Others suspect injury. But the theories have only grown darker. Some fans believe Roman has been silenced. You see, WWE has a long and well-documented history of burying its darkest moments. From Chris Benoit to CM Punk's explosive exit, the company's PR machine has mastered one thing: erasure. Rewrite the narrative. Control the footage. Pretend the problem never existed. But erasing Roman Reigns? The face of the company? The man who carried WWE through a global pandemic and brought relevance back to the Universal Championship, that's not just suspicious, it's terrifying. Sources inside WWE, who spoke anonymously, have described an atmosphere of paranoia. One writer reportedly told a podcast host off record, "Roman's name is blacklisted in meetings. We're not even allowed to pitch storylines that mention him. It's like he vanished off the map, and everyone's afraid to ask why." And then, there's Paul Heyman. The wise man has always been the mouthpiece of the bloodline, always cryptic, always in control. But in recent weeks, his promos have taken a strange turn. He stammers. He avoids eye contact when asked about Roman. He talks about Solo Sikoa as if he is the new leader. The shift has been subtle, but undeniable. A torch is being passed, or taken by force, because here's the thing: in Roman's absence, the bloodline is falling apart. Solo Sikoa has turned violent and unpredictable. He's lashed out at Jimmy Uso. He's dismissed Jey Uso. And yet, he walks around with Roman's Ula Fala, a symbol only the tribal chief should wear. It's more than disrespect. It's a coup. Whispers from the locker room hint at deep divisions. Some believe Solo is acting out of frustration, tired of playing second fiddle to a ghost. Others believe he's been promised something, perhaps even coerced by forces higher up in WWE. And then there's the most damning piece of all, the footage that never aired, according to two former production assistants who recently left WWE. A segment involving Roman Reigns was filmed weeks after his supposed disappearance. In it, Roman appears in a dimly lit room, bandaged, slumped in a chair. He's not the dominant force we knew. He looks exhausted. Defeated. And just before the footage cuts to black, he says a single line, "This wasn't the plan." The segment was scheduled to air on SmackDown but was reportedly pulled just hours before broadcast. No reason given. No footage released. What did Roman mean? What plan was broken, and more importantly, why is WWE hiding it? Some believe Roman suffered a serious medical emergency. That his reign ended not in the ring, but in a hospital bed. If true, it would explain WWE's silence, a forced absence, with legal teams scrambling to manage the fallout. Others suggest something more chilling, that Roman was forced out, pushed by corporate powers threatened by his influence, or by creative tension over his control of the bloodline narrative. But the most haunting theory? Roman walked away not from injury. Not from scandal. But from the crushing weight of being the tribal chief. For years, Roman Reigns has carried the company on his back. He's performed through grief, through sickness, through fan rejection and redemption. He's become a symbol. One molded by Vince McMahon, by Paul Heyman, by fans, by pressure. But behind the character is a man. A husband. A father. A man who may have finally broken under the weight, and maybe, just maybe, he decided to disappear before he completely lost himself. There are cracks in the empire. And the silence is deafening. Even WWE's most loyal partners, commentators like Michael Cole or Corey Graves, have begun to slip. In recent broadcasts, they've referred to the fall of the dynasty, and the emptiness at the top. No names. No explanations. Just ghost stories. The arena chants are growing louder. Where's Roman? We want Reigns. But WWE offers no answers. Even Jey Uso, in a recent backstage interview, refused to comment. He stared into the camera, shook his head, and walked away. That silence said more than any scripted promo could. Something is being hidden. Something dark. And the fans aren't buying the silence anymore. The bloodline isn't just breaking. It's being rewritten. Without its architect. And so we ask again, where is Roman Reigns? Is he recovering? In hiding? Was he betrayed? Silenced? Or did he finally say, enough? This is more than a storyline. It's a vanishing act no one wants to talk about. And yet, it may be the darkest chapter in WWE history, a superstar erased, an empire collapsing, and a truth buried deeper than any kayfabe plot twist could deliver. Because if WWE can make its biggest star disappear, who's really in control? Stick around, because in the next part, we'll investigate WWE's history of disappearing acts, dig into leaked backstage reports, and reveal the private warning one WWE executive gave to a wrestling journalist just days before Roman vanished. Whatever happened to Roman Reigns, this isn't over. Behind the curtain of WWE's carefully polished product lies a trail of secrets, half-truths, and dark corners that the company has always gone to great lengths to conceal. And in that shadowed history, the sudden disappearance of Roman Reigns might be the most disturbing chapter yet, because Roman wasn't just a superstar. He was the superstar. For over 3 years, he ruled WWE with an iron grip. He unified titles. He broke records. He redefined the concept of a heel in modern wrestling. And more than anything else, he saved WWE when it was bleeding viewers and drowning in repetitive creative. And now? He's gone. No farewell match. No retirement tour. Not even a thank you package on Raw. WWE treats Roman's disappearance like an embarrassing injury to the brand. But insiders say the truth is more explosive than anyone's ready to admit. Let's go back, years before this mystery began. This isn't the first time WWE has made someone vanish. In 2014, CM Punk walked out of WWE and was scrubbed from all programming almost overnight. His name was never mentioned again, until lawsuits and podcasts forced the company to acknowledge him. In 2007, Chris Benoit's tragic and horrific end led WWE to erase his legacy from history, matches removed from archives, his name never spoken again. Even Sasha Banks and Naomi, when they walked out of Raw in 2022, were swiftly pulled from merchandise, intro videos, and event promotions. WWE knows how to disappear people. It's a corporate defense mechanism. Control the narrative. Rewrite history. And Roman? He may be the highest profile erasure yet, but unlike those others, Roman didn't leave in protest, or so we think. No one has seen him walk away. No one has heard his voice. There are no interviews. No public sightings. Just silence. And that silence has birthed 1,000 questions. Here's what we do know. One former WWE writer, whose contract expired last month, shared this chilling message in a DM to a wrestling podcaster. There was a script. Roman was meant to confront Solo. It was going to be emotional, raw. He was going to reclaim the Ula Fala. But 2 hours before taping, it got pulled. Then Roman stopped showing up. Production was told he was unavailable indefinitely. That's not injury language. That's blackout protocol. Blackout protocol. That's the internal WWE term used when talent is pulled from all public-facing communication. Merchandise stops. Social media freezes. Writers are told don't mention them. It's what happened to Bray Wyatt after he was released. It's what happened to Riddle. Now it's happening to Roman Reigns. But why? Some speculate it's creative burnout. Roman has been on top for so long, maybe he needed rest. Maybe he asked for time away. But if that's true, why wouldn't WWE just say that? Why the secrecy? Why the blacklist? Another theory, one that's been gaining traction in the dirt sheets, is more sinister, that Roman Reigns suffered a breakdown. It's no secret that Roman has battled health issues in the past. His public fight with leukemia brought him universal admiration. But mental health? That's the one thing WWE doesn't like to talk about, especially when it involves their top draw. What if Roman cracked under the pressure? Multiple events could have triggered it: the death of Bray Wyatt, a fractured locker room, mounting pressure to carry storylines that revolved around him 24/7. For years, WWE built the entire creative structure around Roman's presence. Without him, the company falls into chaos, and that chaos may have finally consumed him. But here's the eerie part: a longtime backstage crew member said in a now-deleted Reddit thread, one night in Gorilla, Roman walked past everyone and slammed his fist on the table. Said I'm done, walked out, and no one's seen him since. That post disappeared hours after it went viral. The account? Deleted. Now let's talk about Paul Heyman. A man known for never breaking kayfabe. A man who spins gold out of silence. He recently appeared on The Bump, WWE's usually lighthearted digital show. But when asked directly about Roman, Heyman paused. His eyes flicked to the floor. Then, without answering, he smiled sadly and simply said, "Next question." That moment sent chills through the fanbase. Because for Paul Heyman to say nothing? That says everything. It's not just Paul. Triple H, during a press conference after Money in the Bank, was asked about Roman's status. His answer was brief: Roman's taking time. That's all I'll say. But sources say Triple H fought tooth and nail to keep Roman visible, even as others in WWE wanted to move on. There's a battle behind the scenes, a power struggle between those who want to preserve Roman's legacy and those who want him erased, because here's the brutal truth: Solo Sikoa is being positioned as the new tribal chief. The Ula Fala is in his possession. Jimmy Uso has been silenced. Jey Uso has fled. And Paul Heyman? He's looking more like a survivor than a loyalist. This isn't just a bloodline storyline. This feels like a corporate coup. One high-ranking executive, speaking anonymously to an industry reporter, put it bluntly: Roman made enemies. Not the kind you see in the ring. The kind you see in boardrooms. Was Roman's exit forced? Did he threaten the status quo? Did he want more control over creative? Was he about to blow the whistle on something deeper? Because let's not forget, Roman Reigns had leverage. He was reportedly negotiating a contract restructure. More power. Fewer dates. Production influence. What if he pushed too far, and what if WWE decided to push back, by pulling the plug? There's one more piece to this puzzle. Something fans weren't supposed to see. A grainy video that surfaced on Twitter before being mass reported and taken down. It showed what appeared to be Roman Reigns leaving a darkened backstage area, clutching a towel to his head, being helped into a black SUV by two unnamed men. No WWE branding. No medical staff. No security, just Roman, weak, vulnerable, and gone. The video was timestamped 2 weeks after his last appearance. The Post claimed they didn't want this out. Ask yourself why. That video is gone now. But the questions remain: why hasn't Roman spoken? Why has WWE blacked out all mention of him? What are they hiding? And most importantly, is Roman okay? Because beyond the theatrics, the belts, the factions, and the promos, Roman Reigns is a man. A man with a family. A man who has given everything to this business. And tonight, as WWE fans across the world chant his name in arenas and cry out online, the silence from Stamford, Connecticut grows more deafening by the hour. This isn't just about the bloodline anymore. This is about truth. About legacy. About how far WWE is willing to go to protect its image, and what it's willing to destroy to control the narrative. So once again, we ask, where is Roman Reigns? And will WWE ever let us know the truth? Because if history has taught us anything, when WWE doesn't want you to know something, it usually means it's something you need to know. Stay with us. Because in the next chapter, we're digging deeper into Roman's final days on the road, the leaked audio WWE tried to suppress, and the sudden warning issued by a former Bloodline member moments before being pulled off television. This is no longer just a disappearance, this is a cover-up, and it's far from over. The final days of Roman Reigns' on-screen presence weren't marked by fanfare or ceremony. There was no last match moment. No teary promo or retirement speech. Instead, what we now recognize, in hindsight, is a slow, unsettling unraveling. A man once bulletproof in character and aura was, behind the scenes, quietly fracturing. And WWE? They were watching it happen in real time. One former road agent, who asked not to be named, described the atmosphere backstage during Roman's final televised weekend as tense and off balance. Roman wasn't himself, the source said. He wasn't talking much. He wasn't laughing with the boys. Normally he's the locker room leader. That night, he just sat in the corner, head down, barely touched his food. Something was wrong, and everyone knew it. Then, there's the incident in the production trailer. According to another source, this time from WWE's television department, Roman was scheduled to film a backstage segment with Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso. The scene was meant to be light, a tease of dissension within the bloodline. Instead, Roman reportedly walked off mid-rehearsal. Without saying a word, the cameras kept rolling. Paul stayed in character. Jimmy followed him out of frame, but Roman never came back. The segment never aired, and within 48 hours, Roman was gone. Now, in most companies, a top star walking off set would spark chaos. But in WWE, the machinery doesn't stop. Writers were told to pivot. Announcers were told to focus on solo. Merchandise featuring Roman began to slow its rotation. Internally, he was labeled inactive indefinitely. Externally, not a word was said, but then came the audio file. A leaked clip that circulated for less than 6 hours before being nuked off the internet. Originally posted on a locked Patreon page by a wrestling journalist known for exclusive backstage scoops, the clip was labeled, Roman Reigns' Final Call, leaked audio from production truck. What it contained was faint, but unmistakable, the muffled voice of Roman Reigns. I'm not doing this anymore, man. I can't. You promised, this wasn't the deal. I gave everything. I lost myself for this. A pause. Then another voice, calm, corporate, almost robotic. Roman, listen. We're working on it. But you need to be present. We have to finish the angle. You're the cornerstone. Roman responds, louder this time, I'm done. Don't book me next week. Don't book me next month. I'm not coming back. The clip ends with static. Some claimed it was fake. AI generated. A hoax, but others. People within WWE, off the record, confirmed the voices were real. The backlash from WWE was immediate. Copyright strikes, DMCA takedowns, phone calls to journalists warning them to back off or risk being blacklisted from future events. One wrestling news outlet received a cease and desist letter within 24 hours. That aggressive legal response? It told us everything. This wasn't a creative decision. This was a crisis. And WWE was scrambling to contain it, but just as the company fought to bury the audio, another voice emerged. One that couldn't be silenced as easily. A Bloodline member Sami Zayn, in a backstage interview before a recent SmackDown taping, Sami was asked an offhand question by a local reporter, "Any update on Roman Reigns?" Sami blinked. Smiled, but before the mic could be pulled away, he leaned in and said, quietly, sharply, he tried to tell the truth. That's why he's not here. The WWE production team cut the feed seconds later. The clip was never included in the YouTube upload, but it was too late. Fans had recorded it, uploaded it, shared it, and just like that, everything changed. If Roman tried to speak out, what was he trying to reveal? Some believe Roman discovered something backstage, perhaps financial discrepancies, unfair treatment of certain talent, or a creative direction he morally disagreed with. Others go darker. They believe Roman, with his influence and visibility, planned to speak out on WWE's internal pressure cooker. The mental toll. The exploitative scheduling. The manipulation of real-life trauma for storylines. He had the platform. He had the reach. He had the credibility, and if true, WWE couldn't let that happen. The theory? Roman didn't just walk away. He was forced out, silenced. Some claim he's under NDA. That legal threats were issued. That his team, his real-world management and lawyers, are currently in private arbitration with WWE's legal department, and that's why we haven't heard a word. But the clock is ticking, and the fans? They're not forgetting. #WhereIsRoman is trending weekly. Bring back the tribal chief signs are popping up in crowds across the globe. Chants echo through arenas. And WWE silence only deepens the suspicion. In private, locker room morale is said to be fractured. The Usos are reportedly off script. Solo Sikoa refuses to speak to certain agents. Paul Heyman, once a master manipulator, now walks backstage like a man carrying a secret, and still, no Roman, and yet. A final breadcrumb remains. Last week, a dark match in an untelevised house show featured an unusual moment. As the lights dimmed, and Solo Sikoa stood alone in the ring, a message flashed briefly across. The Titantron, the tribal chief watches. Fans were confused. Some thought it was a glitch. Others thought it was a tease. But insiders have confirmed that message was not part of any approved production. It was uploaded to the system from an unverified device. Was it Roman? Was it someone on his behalf? Is he trying to speak again, through the cracks in WWE's firewall? We may never know, but what we do know is this: something is happening inside WWE, something that no promo can cover. No storyline can explain. No faction can control. The head of the table is gone, and WWE doesn't want to talk about it, but we will, because the truth doesn't stay buried forever. And Roman Reigns? He may be missing, but he's not forgotten. It's now been over 4 months. 4 months without an appearance. 4 months without a promo. 4 months without even a single confirmed sighting of Roman Reigns inside or outside the WWE universe, and yet, his presence lingers. In every Bloodline segment, there's a ghost. In every fan chant, there's a plea. And in every hushed conversation backstage, there's a name nobody dares to say too loud: Roman. Because everyone knows, he didn't just leave. He was taken off the board, but why? That's the question nobody in WWE wants to answer. And maybe, just maybe, that's because the answer would change everything. You see, Roman's disappearance wasn't an isolated incident. It came at the tail end of a series of strange, subtle events that, when pieced together, paint a disturbing picture. Let's go back to WrestleMania 41. Roman was scheduled to defend his championship in what insiders called a bloodline-defining moment. But days before the event, the script was completely rewritten. Rumors swirled that Roman had demanded creative control over the finish. Others say he refused to lose clean. Some even claimed he wasn't mentally or physically ready. The night of WrestleMania, Roman did show up. He was backstage. Dressed. Ready, but the match never happened. Instead, Paul Heyman addressed the crowd. He called it a strategic postponement. No injury report. No update. Just an eerie, unexplained substitution, and the start of what now appears to be Roman's erasure. That moment was the beginning of the end. Within 2 weeks, Roman's name had been removed from promotional posters. His merchandise was quietly pulled from major online platforms. Even commentary teams, once contractually obligated to hype his presence, suddenly stopped saying his name. It was as if WWE was trying to make us forget, but that's not how memory works. Especially not with someone like Roman Reigns. So what does WWE stand to gain by silencing their most dominant champion of the modern era? Well, let's talk about something no one else is, the Saudi Arabia deal. Behind closed doors, WWE has been negotiating aggressive expansions into Saudi Arabia's sports entertainment sector, more shows, deeper investment, and tighter creative partnerships. Roman Reigns was a major figurehead in these talks. His face, his storylines, his bloodline legacy, they were part of the deal, but according to a source close to WWE's international negotiations, Roman objected not to the business deal itself, but to the creative direction the Saudi partners were pushing for. The request? A forced storyline involving real-world political tension. One that would have blurred the lines between kayfabe and global controversy. Roman reportedly refused. He allegedly said, "I'm not going to be used to sell propaganda." And just like that, things shifted. That same week, Roman was pulled from SmackDown. His upcoming appearances were postponed. His interviews were cancelled. And the deal? It moved forward. Without him now, this theory may sound outrageous. But look at the pattern. Roman was always WWE's top priority in international branding. He had final say on his storylines, until he didn't, and right after objecting to that creative direction, he vanished. Coincidence? Or consequence? We don't have confirmation. But we do have one more chilling clue, a text message. A former writer, since laid off during the latest TKO WWE merger cuts, leaked a screenshot to a wrestling news blog. The message was allegedly sent from a production assistant to another crew member the night of a SmackDown taping. They said Reigns is off limits. Not injured. Not suspended. Just gone. Top floor orders. I don't like this. Top floor orders. That means corporate. That means Vince McMahon, or the new TKO executives who now oversee WWE from the boardroom, not the locker room. So here's the theory. Roman didn't walk away. He was removed, strategically, quietly, and with enough legal threat that neither he nor anyone around him can speak about it. But every action has a consequence. And in WWE, when you remove the tribal chief, you leave a power vacuum, and now that vacuum is being filled with chaos. Solo Sikoa now walks around wearing Roman's Ula Fala like it's his birthright. Paul Heyman stutters through interviews, clinging to whatever narrative management lets him read. And the Usos? Divided. Conflicted. Half loyal, half broken, and through all this dysfunction, the silence from Roman becomes louder. But recently, something changed. There's been a shift. It started as whispers from fans attending WWE live events. At a show in Chicago, a strange video glitch interrupted the Titantron before the main event. The screen flashed white, then black. Then, for just 1 second, a single word appeared.